Now it's time for me to move on to Fiji, a tropical paradise haunted by shadows of the recent past. If you're looking for the ultimate Pacific paradise, Fiji is a pretty good place to start. 500 miles west of Tonga, Fiji has more than 330 islands awaiting the keen adventurer. Almost all of them clad in lush tropical jungle. In good times, nearly 1 million visitors a year come in search of Fiji's wild side, including hundreds of miles of palm-fringed shores, dozens of picture-perfect waterfalls, and some irresistible fresh mountain pools. But most tourists probably don't appreciate the most fascinating thing about Fiji: its people. Because if any country has top claim to be the Pacific Ocean's melting pot, this is it. You can see what I mean in the capital city of Suva, where the Saturday market is a rainbow of flowers, food, and faces. Most are indigenous Fijian, themselves a product of different ancestors. Polynesian from the east, and Melanesian from the west.
What are these?
Gundi.
Gundi?
Yeah.
What are they?
You can peel it like this and eat. It's like banana.
It's nice.
Amazing. I wish I had a kitchen with me that I could cook all this lovely stuff, yeah?
You should take us.
I'll take you, yes.
Yeah.
Come on then.
Fiji also has another surprising yet crucial cultural ingredient.
Try, yes, I've never tried that.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Because 1 out of every 3 Fijians is descended from Indian immigrants.
When it went green, you make curry out of it.
Thank you.
Their ancestors were contract labourers, shipped here in the late 19th century by guess who? The British. Over 4 decades, more than 60,000 Indians were brought here to work on British plantations of sugar, banana, and coffee. Conditions were often little better than slavery, and though many thought they'd eventually return home, very few did. Their descendants have worked hard for a better life, yet many Fijian Indians still cling proudly to their traditions and their faith. In the city of Nandi, you can't miss this colourful symbol of Indian life, the largest Hindu temple anywhere south of the equator. The Sri Siva Subramanya temple has spared no expense,
Oh, look up here.
hiring some of India's finest artists to create these Hindu gods and monsters. While I'm here, I make an offering to Ganesh, the god of wisdom, success, and good luck. But you don't have to be Hindu to appreciate Fiji's rich mix of traditions. There's surely no better advert for this country's cultural cocktail than local cab driver Sam Ali.
34 degrees at the moment. My father was a Muslim. My mom, she's a Christian, but converted to Muslim. I'm a Muslim, but I'm married to a Hindu girl. So it's pretty much blended, you know, mixed up.
So is that quite representative of modern Fijian life? Is
That's it. That's the way.
Embodied in you?
Yes. Everybody has a free, equal right to preach their religion. If you go in a village, there's a church there. Opposite, there's a Hindu temple there. Furthermore, there's a mosque there. So there's no drama.
I love Sam's upbeat view of Fiji's social harmony, and as if to prove just how sweet life is here,
I'm enjoying the flavors in my mouth.
He insists I try another local Indian tradition.
So this is the sweetness of the Indian community in Fiji. How's it?
Yeah, really nice.
I hope you liked it.
Yeah, I did. It was lovely. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. You're welcome. Thank you.
But Fiji hasn't always been a land of friendly smiles. In the 1980s, tensions between the Indian population and the indigenous Fijians triggered a ruthless military coup. More coups followed, and for a while the country was thrown out of the Commonwealth. So while in Vanuatu they were worshipping the Queen's husband, here in Fiji they were taking Her Majesty's picture off the walls. Thankfully, in 2014, democracy was restored, and since then life's been a lot calmer. But there are those who believe that the past should never be forgotten.
Nice.
Oh, hello. Bula,
Bula, bula, bula.
bula. You must be Martin.
I am. You must be Liza.
Nice to meet you. I need a hug, a big hug.
Singer Lysa Vulakoro is one of Fiji's national treasures. She's recorded 16 albums in her trademark style called Vunde. It usually has a funky disco beat, but today I'm getting the unplugged version, with Lysa's nephew Marika on guitar. It's kind of appropriate because Lysa is also passionate about her musical roots in a small Fijian village.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
When did you start singing, or were you just born singing?
I've always wanted to become a singer. Like in school, they would ask, what would you like to be when you grow up? And my cousins would say, I'd like to be a teacher. Another cousin would say, I'd like to be a doctor. And Lysa, I'd like to be a star. And they said, what is that? I said, a singer, a star, a singer. And I didn't know what that really meant, except the star is up there and that's where I'm going.
Right, so you're more than a singer, a
Yes,
star.
yes. I do songs about different parts of Fiji. So people, they feel like they belong, they own the songs.
Your music is based in tradition.
Yes.
Would you play us a Bundes?
Wunde?
Yeah,
The song is called Tauriau, Tauriau, meaning my heart has been broken into so many pieces. Tauriau, le, tauriau, isalei, nanogu senikau, oilele, eyonogu.
Lysa's music doesn't take sides. It's made her a star all over the Pacific. But when she protested against the last military coup, fame wasn't any kind of protection.
You're quite outspoken, aren't you? You've used your fame to make point.
That's why I get into trouble all the time.
In what way?
What they did to me in 2006,
What?
they came and took me from here, took me up to the camp.
Under what pretense? What did they say?
Oh, because I was speaking out against the coup. And then I said, no, you can't tell me to keep quiet because I'm telling the truth. You guys should not do this. Should give the government back to the rightful people who we elected. I was not the only one. There was a few other people that got taken up to camp and got tortured and, yeah.
Tortured?
Yes, they beat us and make us run around. And they stripped me in the cell, take off my clothes. Yeah, so I'm not afraid to talk about it. You can.
It's terrifying, though.
Yeah, but everything is okay with me now. I think they leave me alone.
Right.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah, it's good.
I take my hat off to Lysa. She's not been afraid to stand up to bullies in the name of freedom, and she's used her music to bring people together. Fiji's recent troubles are, at least in part, the lasting echoes of a British imperial past. Right now, there's political calm here. But for one remote island tribe, the past is still an open wound. The islands of Fiji are home to about 1 million people, and most are proud to call themselves Fijian. But on one of Fiji's remoter islands lives a tribe who don't see themselves as Fijian at all.
Maori, how do you do?
Oh, and how do you do? It's a pleasure to...
Karia Christopher is leader of the Banaban people. They've lived here on Rabi Island for the past 70 years, and yet they've never considered it their true home. Before coming to Rabi, the Banabans lived 1,000 miles away on a place called Ocean Island, which means the Banaban language and customs belong to a completely different part of the Pacific. And as I'm finding out, they are some of the friendliest people you could hope to meet. And it's nice to have my dancing skills properly appreciated.
Come Rapa! I need to lie down now.
So how did the Banabans end up here on Rabi Island, so very far from home? The Banaban way of telling their story, as you've probably gathered, is through music and dance. It begins back on Ocean Island in more innocent times, when life's biggest challenges were crossing the reef to go fishing and finding fresh water in underground caves. But everything was about to change. In 1900, a British mining company discovered that Ocean Island was unusually rich in phosphate, worth a fortune in the farming industry. So they persuaded the Banabans to lease them land for mining. They told them that money would transform their quality of life, though in fact, the islanders could do little with the cash. So the Banabans had to watch as their island was slowly destroyed by phosphate mines. After the upheavals of the Second World War, the mining company hatched an outrageous plan to get the Banabans out of the way for good.
The company was wanting them to be moved out of Ocean Island entirely, so they can have the whole island to themselves, mine out the whole, without disruptions from the landowners. So they were displaced across to Rabi. And they were actually...
A handful of elders who still remember it have joined us to explain how the mining company made all sorts of hollow promises to persuade them to relocate.
When you go to Rabi, you will have your homes, living in two-story building homes and cars on the island. Like they were assured. They were not given choices to choose whether they want to come here or to stay.
1,003 people came on that boat and disembarked here. And they were housed in army tents that were erected in the fields where we just came back from. So they lived in those army tents for more than a year.
Worse was yet to come. Now exiles from their homeland, the Banabans were almost wiped out by ferocious cyclones, which they'd never experienced on Ocean Island.
Must have taken a long time to sort of realize that this is it. This is us now on Rabi.
Sikawa.
Like they feel pity for themselves. Like they've been cheated, and that's what they always
Yeah.
say.
Well, they were cheated.
Mining on Ocean Island ceased in 1979, and though the mining company made promises to restore the landscape, it's been left almost uninhabitable. Most Banabans have never seen their homeland.
This was us, was it?
No, it wasn't you.
There wasn't. No, it wasn't me.
there.
The British, though. It was. I'm very sorry on behalf of my forebears.
Thank you.
I genuinely am.
There's no doubt the Banabans have had a really raw deal. But there's some good news, as the younger generation makes the most of the one thing that Rabi Island has in abundance. This little business buys up coconuts from the locals.
People, they come, they bring coconuts, and then we weigh their coconuts, and we pay them. We pay in kilos.
You pay them hard
Yes.
cash, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
hard cash.
We're so
Rabi Kaipati is one of the all-female team in charge.
Money out of that.
And all run by women. The whole,
Yes,
yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
island.
The whole island
The
is
whole
run by
island.
women. Yeah.
They transform Rambi's coconuts into a much-needed source of income.
Oh, it's a jack.
Yeah.
It's a car jack.
Yeah.
Look at that. So is that what I buy if I go to the supermarket in England and it says coconut milk, or coconut cream?
It's sweet. Tasty.
That's lovely. That's the best use of a car jack I ever saw.
As I'm now masterfully demonstrating, the coconut flesh mixed with water is pressed.
Strength, not to be fit. It's really fit.
Don't pick on me.
The cream is fermented to separate out the oil.
It's pretty labor intensive, isn't it? There's a lot of work.
Which is turned into a range of products for cooking, medicinal use, or with natural added aromas for massage therapy.
Island gardenia, wow. Oh, that smells lovely. And this you would use for massage, yeah?
Yes.
Well, that's dreamy. Feel a rub down coming on. Oh, it's just...
When you go this way, the lady's gonna follow you.
Do you reckon?
They can smell the
I'm going to do well on this island.
This business is helping the Banabans to build themselves a better future. And since they're unlikely to return to Ocean Island any day soon, perhaps now Rabi is starting to feel a little bit more like home. It's been fascinating to discover how rich and diverse this part of the Pacific is. With so many surprising connections, past and present, to the rest of the planet.
You know, before I came out here, I thought that Fiji was one island, I thought that Tonga was one island, and I'd never even heard of Vanuatu. What I found really exciting is they're all very different, and they're all very much alive in the modern world, but they're all completely in touch with their cultures and their traditions, and those are based on real things like having enough to eat, having a shelter, being in touch with the mountain and the volcano, and I really like that.
Next time